finger? Hell yeah.
Classes in session, this is the show where knowledge is profit, just so you know. Army Piper, OC guy, and Trade Fly, bringing crypto news to the whole alumni. It's the word on the market, the one-stop shop for the info you need every time that it drops. The go-to show that you need right now. This is Piper Academy, it's all going down, let's go.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Piper Academy. It is Friday. We've got a great show lined up for you today. We're looking at fear and greed right now, about 66. We got Bitcoin fighting, struggling to get to $63,000 again, hitting some critical resistance. Shout out to Chart Prime. And then also Ethereum, still sitting right above $3,000. We're going to be taking a look at Jack Dorsey calling for over $1 million Bitcoin and gold on its way back to an all-time high. All that and a whole lot more today on Piper Academy. Guys, let's get it. Classes in session. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Piper Academy. I am your host, Army Piper. We come at you every Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. We got a great show lined up for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoy. If you do, if you get anything out of it, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. Get notified every time we go live here on the show. I don't do the show by myself. I have a great team with me. I've got Crux of Crypto in the background. We got ZTS Rhythm in the house today, managing the chat. And then I've got my co-host that I can't do the show without, especially on days when I'm not here like yesterday. Let's go ahead and bring them up here. What's up, Tradefly and OC Guy?
Hey, I just want to know, did you guys hear what it sounds like when a professional does the opening of a show? Because I was on the struggle bus yesterday. So,
bro, you're a pro. You're a pro. I don't cut yourself short. You're a pro. You do fine. I don't know what you're all tripping about. You do fine. You're good.
We made it in mono audio for OC Guy. I did put headphones on afterwards, and I was like, "Oh, I see it. I hear it now." But hey, good to be here. It's Friday. Let's get this party started, and I need you guys to vote on a couple coins for us to allocate to the portfolio again.
Get it. OC, what's up, man? How you doing, bro?
I'm doing fantastic. I mean, I had a great night last night. I mean, I went a bit early. I don't know why it's about this age that I really appreciate sleeping time. I don't know. Am I just getting too old for this?
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now, guys. Who you seeing in there today, Tradefly? I know you always watching that chat.
Man, I usually am watching the chat, but I had to do a full restart. So I'm actually trying to get everything set up right now. So I'm going to pass that back to you to run through the chat, say what's up.
All right, well, we got ZTS Rhythm in here. We got Blackie Chan, Mark Dutch, Harp is in here, Dave Digital. We got the double D's in the house. Who else we got in here? We got Justin Eubanks. We got Warrior, your fellow aviator, in the house with us. Kyle Phillips is in here. And then, of course, Piper Academy dropping in this morning saying, good morning, alumni. Love having all the alumni here.
Yeah, that's my alumni. You know what I mean?
Let's jump over into the news. Let's knock this out, and then we'll get into some TA because it's Friday, and we're just going to hang out and chill today. Drop some knowledge. Look at some charts and just chill today, okay? So let's jump over to the news, see what we're seeing over here, guys. We do have the Fear Greed Index coming in 66 right now, sitting at greed, not too close to getting into extreme greed, to be honest. We're sitting right there in between, kind of nestled in between that neutral and that extreme greed area there. Jumping over into that crypto bubbles, we can see we got a lot of red right now looking at this on the monthly. If we jump over to the day, we got some green, guys. RWE up 17.2%. AKT, shout out to OC Guy on that one, 27.1% there. Injective up 14.5. Toncoin making some moves at 14.9. Like, a lot of things are looking decent today. We are getting a little bit pullback in the past hour, and that is because of where we're hitting on Bitcoin right now. We're going to show that here in a minute. You guys need to be aware. We are at a Chart Prime famous resistance indicator. So let's get into the liquidations. Take a look at that. Oh, wait. Sorry. Back it up. Back it up like I left something there. By the way, guys, stick around at the end of the show. You should auto transition right over to Mad Bum Rush and take over on a Randy Hipper's show, and it will pop up in their chat that the alumni have entered the chat. So stick around and get in there and make some noise when we're done. We're gonna go pay a visit to our frat house mom when we're done with this show today. Looking here at Bitcoin, guys. Again, sitting about $63,000, Ethereum at 3,000. Not much change. That's been the story all week long. $63,000 Bitcoin and $3,000 Ethereum that we've been talking about. Toncoin moving up one position, guys. It's now the number 8 on the market cap. It has moved up another position there, sitting pretty good right now for the month, only up about 6.6%, but for the week, it's up 31%. So Cardano sitting at number 10 and holding that top 10 close out there. Anybody else big movements on here? Looks like Immutable X has moved up 3 positions. Dog with Hat has moved up 3 positions. OKB has dropped down 4 positions down here. And Arweave is now in the top 40. It has moved up there along with the graph, moving up right behind it into number 41. So a lot of movement of some smaller tokens that are moving into the big world. And that's what we're seeing. Let's jump over, check out the liquidations, guys. Past 24 hours, 38,933 traders got liquidated. Total liquidations coming in at $95.5 million. Largest single liquidation order happened on OKX. It was for Ethereum. And we're going to talk about Ethereum today, too. I got an article on that, so stick around for that. But that big liquidation on ETH came in at $849,000, not even a million. So looks like maybe those big traders are tired of losing money. I don't know. For today, we've got the Michigan Consumer Sentiment. It's going to be coming in here in about 23 minutes. We'll come back and take a look at this. But I want to show you guys what's going on next week, because we could have a mind-blowing pump next week, just so you guys know. This is strictly based off of fundamental analysis. There's nothing in the charts that's telling me this is going to happen unless you zoom out and look at the big range. And of course, we always go up and to the right eventually, right? But what I'm seeing over here next week that's making me very bullish for next week's price action is we have now PPI on Tuesday. Yeah, it's decent. It's going to be coming in neutral on the consensus and forecast. If this happens and we get no change, we're probably okay. But on Wednesday, we have core inflation. This is the biggest thing the Federal Reserve looks at when it comes to if they're going to raise rates or drop rates or just stay neutral and pause. That is going to be next Wednesday, May 15th, guys. Look at the consensus and forecast. We are predicted for it to be going down. Now, if that happens, and we are at 0.3%, where we previously have been at 0.4, we will likely see the Fed Reserve get, or the investors believe that the Fed Reserve are getting closer to rate cuts. And if that happens, guys, we're going to be absolutely getting the opportunity for a nice pump next week. Even on the core inflation year over year, forecast to be down 0.1% there. And then the inflation rate, if you look here, it's at 3.5. The consensus is that it would be at 3.4. Forecast is neutral, but consensus is that it will beat the previous year over year. That will be very, very bullish for the markets. All this next Wednesday, guys. We keep an eye on that, and we'll be watching, see if that changes as we get closer. And then that is about it. But we do have a lot of Fed speakers next week, and they will be making comments about how this data comes out. So keep an eye on that, guys. We don't have anything big today on the earnings side, but yesterday we did have Marathon and CleanSpark. Marathon, I believe, just slightly under their earnings. They came in a little bit below it, but they had some data that came out that kind of pushed them down. But CleanSpark absolutely crushed their earnings report, and they had a lot of movement yesterday, and we're going to be taking a look at CleanSpark. CleanSpark up right now about 6% on the chart. It is getting a good movement at market opening. So shout out to CleanSpark, and shout out to anybody who got into that a while back because we've made money, that's for sure. That is what I got over there. We're going to do one little quick look here on the chat here, see if I missed anything, and then we're going to jump over back to Trio Camp. So there's your macroeconomic picture for this week and next week, guys. Next week we have the potential. You guys were watching it. We have the potential next week for an absolutely phenomenal run on the markets if those numbers come in the way that they're looking. What do you think? Are those numbers going to come in at the predictions and be under, or are we going? Is it going to be way off and it's just going to break hearts and break people's wallets? Trade
I
fly,
don't
we'll
know.
go with
Are
you
they
first.
using the real numbers, or are they using the
They're using
government
gov
numbers?
math,
Yeah,
dude. Come on.
I'm sure they'll be fine then. All is well in the government's eyes, especially going into an election. Yeah, I don't know. We'll find out, man. A lot of times too, you look back and you see that they adjust the numbers. So you'll see one thing, and then a few months later, you see something different. But it's hard to tell. I mean, the forecasts they have been relatively accurate, I'll say, over the past like 6 months to a year. So yeah, if it's looking like it's trending in the right direction, then we'll see. I don't feel like it is though. It just what I feel and what I see are kind of not aligning. That's what I'll say.
That's what I keep telling. I keep saying the audio is not matching the video in
Yeah,
2024. So,
something ain't right.
but if those numbers come in the way that they are, investors are going to respond to what the reports say, not
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
and I do believe we have an opportunity next week for a major run up. I got to give a shout out, man. We got T Shroom in the chat right now, FD White in the chat right now, and Alex O Crypto in the chat right now. Gang, gang, gang. So big love from other content creators coming over to hang out with us here on Piper Academy,
Hey,
man.
for FD White, man, he's trying to push to get 1K subscribers, so not too far off. If you guys could help him out with that, that would be much, much appreciated.
Yeah,
And
one of
Alex
my
O,
mods can drop a link to his YouTube here in the chat. That would be great. Let's help him out. Let's get him there.
hell
Let's do
yeah.
that.
And Alex O, my man, fam, yesterday was awesome with you. And yeah, just want to say lots of respect and much love.
I was torn so badly yesterday on Trade Wars because it was you and Alex O on a 1v1. If you guys haven't watched it, go back and watch it. It was a very informative episode because they were talking about, you guys did more talking than trading, even though you were trading in the background the whole time. There was some great alpha being dropped on there yesterday. And I will say this, that I was very torn because it was Alex O, whom, he's my brother and I love him to death. And then Tradefly, who is my show partner. And so I had to go with Tradefly. I'm sorry, Alex O. I gotta support the team, It's like being in the military, you're a Marine, Alex O, and I love you when we're on the battlefield. But if it came down to you or my battle buddy in the foxhole with me right here, Tradefly, I got to go with my fellow Army dude before the Marines. But anybody on the outside, we'll all jump together and whoop on you. So, yeah, it was tough. It was tough though yesterday.
Yeah.
But I got this thing here. You ready? So Tradefly, you have a 1v1 next week now with whoever loses on Monday, correct?
Yes.
So you have to win that one, and then you'll be in the final.
Correct. Yeah, I just have to win one more, and then I'll be in the finals.
OC, do not get off the show next week. If you make it through that, listen, you make it through that. Tradefly wins his 1v1. What?
I got immunity.
He has immunity.
Oh, then that's it. OC, you're going to be in the final now, right?
I don't know if he'll be in the final, but he gets pushed into next Monday. And then that Monday, so there's Monday that he has to be on the show. He has immunity. Then somebody gets eliminated. Somebody goes to the 1v1. And then that second Monday, that will be like the showdown for OC.
Got it. So there's a very high likelihood that 50% of the finals will be seeded by Piper Academy. I'm just going to put that out there. You guys have crushed it. So shout out to you guys.
Could be us.
Shout out to you guys.
Let's go.
All right, let's jump over and check out the Bitcoin chart, guys. See what we're seeing over here. This resistance I was talking about, been fighting with it all night long here, throughout the entire night. You guys can even see, I'll bring in the wicks here. Look at the candle closes. It is in the dynamic reactor. So shout out to Chart Prime. Absolutely crushing it with that level right there of resistance. We pumped up off of that value area low that I was talking to you guys about, moved up here, and now it looks like we're getting rejection on this, guys. If we do head down, that next level down below, again, 61,125 is going to be the value area low there, and it does look like we're starting to get a little bit of curvature there on the Oscillator Pro ribbon, and then also on the RSI Prime, we're starting to get these smaller candles all the way up, stair-stepping for a possible top down. You can see how they were longer here, and they got shorter and shorter and shorter, and then it came down. That was this rounded top here. I do think we could possibly see that this weekend. I'm going to be looking for that 61,143 level to be coming back into play. Tradefly, what do you got on the heat map? Let's take a look at that and see what you're seeing there for Bitcoin. And then, let's talk about Bitcoin for a second. You guys tell me what you're seeing here. And then we'll get into an article that reaffirms somebody in the big analyst world that's not Army Piper says $52,000 Bitcoin in play. And I'm like, where you been at? Because we've been talking about that for a hot minute. All right, Tradefly, what you got, man?
Yeah, I'll keep it quick on the liquidation heat map. It kind of aligns. It's almost like people know. Maybe some people have some chart prime indicators here, but you can see where the hot spot is. That's kind of the. It looks like people are going short right over that area of resistance. So that is the alligator closest to the boat. That's where the liquidity is sitting right now. I wouldn't be surprised to see a wick up there, clear it out before it maybe heads down. That's definitely in play because when you're looking at the overall trend, let me go ahead and pull that up. Actually, I got it right here. There you go. Overall trend is still kind of down and right, but I did give you this area yesterday, right? Because we broke out and we actually came down for a true retest. So I had my eye on this and I said it's at the top of the support range, looking for a little bit of upside. But the resistance that I was looking for was going to be in the area of the dynamic reactor. And we had some confluence there with some moving averages. So that's kind of played out pretty well. And yeah, now I'm looking for a little bit of resistance. And even so, if you get through the dynamic reactor, then you're sitting at the 200. You're probably going to find some more resistance there as well. But overall, the trend is still kind of down and right. We haven't really been able to break out. You see how you're still seeing a kind of a series of lower highs here. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm kind of in a wait and see mode at this point. This is the only little play I was looking. Intraday scalping was basically from here to here, and so that's there. It's played out, and now we just gotta wait.
Just wait. Just breathe and wait. That's it.
That's
what are
it.
you seeing on there for Bitcoin, bro?
All right, so basically, I just was drawing here my expectation. So I have a 60% chance that we do a run up and a 40% run down, or a 40% chance of falling back down. I want to show something that I just realized yesterday. And it wasn't just for me. In fact, Noncy Sam, shout out to Noncy Sam, he was asking me, hey, can you take a look at daily? I think we have a cup and handle. And I was like, all right, sure. I haven't watched that. So where is that cup and handle? And he said, well, buddy, you are a bit too close. Why don't you zoom out? And wow. All right, could this be? I mean, this is looking crazy like a possible cup and handle, right? So I don't know. Let me just draw a couple of things here. Just bring it up here. I actually told him, hey, is it okay if I show it in the show and like mention you? He said, yeah, absolutely, go for it. So for me, the cup and handle should be somewhere around at least a 1-to-4 ratio, or at least 1-to-3 ratio, right? So if we have a 76% here of a down movement, we can just divide that in 4 or 3. Let me do that very, very quick. And that is giving us either 19% or also giving us a 25%. So if we take a look at a 25% rundown, we'll be looking at, look at that, almost exactly, well, also where we are from, almost exactly at this area right down here. In that area, it is 53.54. So,
Imagine
guys,
that.
still, we're not out of the blue. What is it? Yeah,
I said,
that's
imagine that.
pretty good.
It just keeps
Yeah,
coming down to that
and
number.
I
But this
mean,
is some alpha, bro. I like it.
thank you,
I like
thank you,
that
brother.
zoomed out.
And
I like
like,
the zoomed out look. That's my thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're a specialist in that, and especially because you've been talking about this area for so long, right? And we've been also being a little bit careful in setting up a couple of entries in case we see that run down, right? So let me just go back into the 4 hour here, very, very quick. And just to wrap things up, let me zoom in a little bit. And also, let me remind you guys that I am looking at the Wyckoff spring and also at a possible head and shoulder. I'm going to show you also right here the neckline of this head and shoulder, and we are about to break it. Something important here, it is that, and let me just show my oscillator. All right, and I don't know what's not working, but all right, we'll pretend it's there. Well, we cannot pretend. We need to see it. There we go. All right, so we are against the dynamic reactor in the 4 hours. So we're having that resistance and we are just piercing through. So I only need one single candle, big body candle to break through, retest, and off I go to continue through the Wyckoff spring and have that confirmation. So we are either break and make. There's two chances in here. Either if we break through the neckline, find support, and off we go. We have that next up run room that Piper is talking about. Or if we reject here, guys, brace yourself because you know what is coming right here. So other than that, turning it back to you guys.
Awesome. Appreciate that, man. Let's jump over here to look at this article that's talking about this $52,000 dip now. Bitcoin bearish signal. Analyst predicts potential dip to $52,000. This came out 5 minutes ago when this article was released. Matter of fact, it might be a little bit more than that now. Let me refresh it and see. 51 minutes ago there, guys. So within the past hour, this article came out, and it's almost like they've been watching Piper Academy for the past 3 weeks. So taking a look down here, guys. We don't need the wiener ad here. Let's get rid of that. There we go. Taking up all my space. Looking at this article, as the price action of Bitcoin continues to attract investor interest, Mike Vandepop, a well-known market analyst and a trader in a bearish scenario, has made a worrying prediction, warning the community of a potential drop in price to $52,000. I don't know that I would call it a warning. I think I would call it a heads up for opportunity and potential, because I don't think we're going to go much lower than that on that pullback, and 52K would be an amazing spot for people that missed out to get into some positions. So not financial advice. DCA is the way, though, in my opinion. Bitcoin poised for a possible decline. He said the prognosis explores the factors that are driving the gloomy view of Bitcoin's price trajectory in the midst of market turbulence and uncertainty. So Vandepop affirms that the largest crypto asset by market cap, currently in a range at the range low, which we show you guys all the time, it's sitting right there in that value area low. So for Bitcoin to maintain that range and the upward momentum to persist, this is technically the region that it should hold, which we have been holding $60,000. Very strong. Matter of fact, if we jump over here real fast to take a look, you will see here on the daily, we did a perfect test on the daily on that dynamic reactor, just like in the past. When we break it and finally get above it, we'll come back and we'll retest it several times throughout the cycle, and we did get a positive retest on it. I'm not arguing that, but based on what I've been seeing and what he's seeing here, if we do go down, I do believe 52K is going to be that area of support. Should the asset fail to sustain this position, he anticipates a potential movement downside target of $55,000 and possibly even further to that $52,000 threshold. Looking here, he said he pointed out that Bitcoin is gradually moving closer to the low bounds of the range in order to test support at 62,250, which we've been doing consistently at that level there. And then consequently, it appears likely that Bitcoin will keep moving towards the upside following the breakout of the support level. However, he does say that after this halving event, boredom has set in, suggesting a possible price decline. Thus, should a correction on the downside happen, 52 and 55 are the areas to watch. So we've been talking about that for a while. It doesn't need to go down there. It doesn't have to go down there. If it does go down there, I see it as opportunity, not as anything horrible. But that is the levels of support, that if we can't hold the dynamic reactor in the daily and we can't hold the current levels that we're looking at, 52K would be the area that we would pull back to, in my opinion. And TradeFly OC, we've talked about this numerous times. I just wanted to point out this article that is pretty much coming out now talking about levels that we've seen for a hot minute here on Piper Academy. So, what are your thoughts on that article? Has anything changed in your opinions about Bitcoin price action? Do you think that retest of the daily reactor was enough to say, nah, that's not going to happen now? Or do you still think 52K is in play?
No, it's surely in play, and I'm not really going to let go of it. There's too much liquidity down there for them to just leave, in my mind. And it doesn't have to happen today. It doesn't even have to happen in the next 14 days. It doesn't really matter when it gets there. I just think at some point they're going to want to get that liquidity just because it's there, right? And it's reachable, it's achievable for the maker to get his. So to be honest, I'm really just waiting for the day that we get the article that says. Popular crypto analyst Army Piper says, and then we get that article written. So that'll be dope. One day, I think Crux Crypto will be the one writing that article. So it's achievable. It's going to happen.
OC, your thoughts on that, man? Not on the fact of me being right in the paper, but
it's happening.
Oh, that needs to happen, brother. That needs to happen.
Will.
If that happens, we're going to have much more accurate news. Yes, absolutely. So I do believe that, it doesn't change my perspective. Remember that I am 60-40% run up or down. And remember, I always said a smart trader is a prepared trader, right? Nobody has it. Nobody comes from the future, at least that I know. Oh, shout out to the magician, only time traveler. No, I have no proof, but I have no doubts. But other than him, I don't think anybody comes from the future, which means nobody actually knows, right? So we need to just be careful and take the TAs to the points that it's telling us to. So what is the possibilities to pump? What is the possibilities to dump? And what are the big supports and big resistances, right? So right now we are on a break or make support in higher time frames, and also in lower time frames we're in a big resistance aiming at 53, 54, 52, right? So I do have open orders for spot entries, and then I'll be reacting on the upcoming rejection of the head and shoulders that I have on my chart. So yeah, it changes nothing. I just being a little bit more careful all around the plan.
Awesome. I'm looking at the chat here. So, Mr. J said, come to Piper Academy to see tomorrow's news. So shout out to Jay. And then I also saw that Jay was late to muster this morning, has to report to the first sergeant. Let me, there we go. I cocked my knife hand. Knife hand is ready. Let's do it. If you guys don't know, I retired a first sergeant. So I am the first sergeant of the Piper Academy. Report to my office. Bring a canteen of water, Mr. J. Let's go ahead and look over here real fast. I do want to point this out, guys. I do think that we're possibly going to see a move up here to the platinum pocket on this move. I think there's upside potential in the short term. Good volatility for traders, right? Looking right there, that 786 coming in at 67,366. I think that we're going to get into between this range and the value area high. If we get up to that 70,000, 67,300, 67,400 up to about $70,000 range, I do think that's where we could see a pullback, and that would be where I would watch for that 52. Guys, if we come down to 52K, that 52K is about a 26% move, and it is right in line with what we tend to see in the post-halving cycles. So not too concerned about it at all. I want to jump over here to another news article, and we're going to talk about this one. It's your favorite. It's your favorite TradeFly. Gold.
Here it is.
I love gold.
Yes, he loves his gold. Gold's climbing above $2,350 to exit consolidation as traders bet on rate cuts, guys. That data that I showed you a little bit ago on the economic calendar for next week, where we were talking about this data coming in lower, this is what is kind of leading that sentiment here on gold, for gold to climb higher and go back to an all-time high. Markets are pivoting to a rate cut narrative after the latest U.S. data shows a sharp rise in weekly jobless claims. They're seeing that stuff there. And then on top of that, that was yesterday, by the way. I don't know if you guys went over that, but yesterday jobless claims had a nice little sharp rise. So that is a weakening of the labor force at the same time that the rates are coming down. And that tends to lend to the Federal Reserve have to make pivots. And so now the markets, the risk markets, are now looking at that narrative of a rate cut likely to be coming sometime in the near future. Gold rising early on Friday, quietly exiting a 3-week long consolidation area with the lid of $2,350 there. They are looking to push that up to that all-time high record of 2,430, which was hit on April 12th, and that is going to be driving some fresh gains there. So gold, we're going to take a look at gold on the chart and see how it's looking real fast, and then we'll get into some altcoins, and then I got to talk about Ethereum. We got a $5 super chat just came in from BC Port Corp. I said, not financial advice. If you had $1,000 to invest, what would you look at for the best gains? So there's a couple of factors that you got to put in here. We're going to address this one before we get into this gold chart. So if you're looking at the best gains, you're looking at higher risk stuff, in my opinion. If you're looking at higher risk assets, then you should have the mentality that this $1,000 is $1,000 that you're okay if it's gone, if you lose it. Because the higher the risk, the higher the reward, the higher the risk, and the higher the risk, the higher the likelihood that you could lose your money. So based on your question, I would ask, do you have money invested in lower risk, safer gains, such as Bitcoin? That would be my first question I'd have to ask. But I'm going to assume, based on this question, that you do have Bitcoin, you have ETH, and now you just had an extra $1,000 that you're looking for the biggest bang for the buck. I'm going to kick it to OC first, and we'll come back around. OC, $1,000 scenario, you already have Bitcoin, you've got your mid risk, your low risk. What is your high risk place for $1,000? Do you hold any of that as dry powder? Keep that in mind too. Go for it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. First of all, I'm going to be looking at some AI, right? So narrative tokens. A couple of things that I'm looking on AI, and I was talking about this previous classes where we were also looking at AKR. It is what the newbie investors are doing, right? So for that, I'm looking at three things: color, shape, and name, right? So easy names. One syllable or one pronunciation thing, like for example, I don't know. They just oh well, yeah, I just was looking at a couple of ideas here, but like for example CAS, right, or something like that. But if we go here, top AI tokens, right, I'll be looking for something like near render, something like that, right? So at this point I'm going to go lower into the market cap and start looking for those tokens. That's why the idea of a cash was coming from, right? Another tokens that I'm going to be looking at are degen tokens, right? So basically Bonk, I don't know, Pepe, a couple of those tokens. And then just to finalize, I'll be looking at something like very just new, like go to coin market cap and go to popularity, and then once you are on popularity, well, then you just go for the lowest caps that you can see, right? So for example, let's see volume, or what is it, 7 days, where was that? Well, I don't got to pull up here, but what you want to start looking at are those low caps that you can find, and they are having a 24-hour movement, and then start using those with, again, color, shape, and name parameters to jump in, so you can jump in early into a possible blowout token. So those are going to be the ones that are going to be picking.
Awesome. TradeFly, what is your approach? You got $1,000 free money, gonna put it somewhere high risk. You're looking to make some cash off of this. What are you gonna do with it?
So it's different in a few different scenarios, and the reason I say that is this $1,000 just like one little piece of your capital, or is this $1,000 you going all in? And if you're starting off your portfolio with $1,000, then I would say diversify. But if it's just like one little play, like for me, like if I'm getting invested in something, $1,000 is probably a minimum that I'm going to put into it. So, it's not going all in. It's just a little piece of the pie, right? Like I would put $1,000 into something like CleanSpark and not think twice about it. And it's not really me going all in, but it's also something me, playing like, hey, this has the opportunity to outperform Bitcoin in the short term, or maybe even the long term. If you're looking at their earnings report that they just had yesterday, that trend is good, right? They had a very positive earnings report, and that is showing you that they're not going to be as affected by the halving as we may have thought, because they're finding other ways to get those transactional fees that have actually increased their earnings. So this is a really, really good sign for some of the mining stocks. So I would say after yesterday, I'm actually super bullish in those. So, CleanSpark is probably a good one for you to look at. Render is a really nice one. I think that's going to perform well. Another thing you can look at too is something like BITX. BITX is a volatility shares of Bitcoin. It's a Bitcoin ETF, but it's a 2X. So if you believe in Bitcoin, that's an opportunity for you to make some more gains exponentially quicker without getting liquidated, right? So you can go 2X, and then like you're playing it for the long term, but you won't get crushed by it. So I like those. Kind of just scrolling down the list real quick. I think there might have been maybe a couple other ones in there. I think Ondo is probably not a bad play. You're looking for things that just have the opportunity for some good growth, right? So this is what I'll say. One, we probably need to know more about your portfolio. So join our Discord.
So he did drop some stuff here. That's actually Blackie Chan. So he just put it in the chat here. He said BC Port Corp is me. It's his Blackie Chan. It's his YouTube channel. He's going to be making videos with Lunar Beaches Crypto. So shout out. There you go.
Oh yeah, that's
and
cool.
he said,
"Hey, Blackie Chan's good stuff, man."
Yeah. He said that 1K is for bigger gains on top of his hodl. So he's already got hodl. This is $1,000 that he's looking for some bigger gains out of that 1,000. And his hodl bag is all top 100 projects. So he did give some clarity there on that. Okay, he's looking for that $1,000 to rip off some extra money. So
I have to look at that, see what's outside the top 100. But I think AI narrative is good. Game narrative is good. Those ones have probably a little bit more potential. But if you're outside the top 100, maybe you try to look for something that's newer, a little more up and coming. But yeah, I don't know. That's my 2 cents. I would probably, dude, I think mining is where it's at right now, honestly.
Yeah, I would look at doing some mining stock with that, like a couple $100 of it, me personally. But that's my opinion, not financial advice. I like the mining stocks. But I would look at some things that have a definitive utility. I don't know that I would go all the way to the bottom. Like Mr. J said, I would put $1 in the top 1,000, $1 in each. Interesting concept, but I don't know. I think that's probably 300 and down, you're looking at the possibility of losing $700 there. So I would actually Crux is on it, man. Crux dropped the right in line with what I was thinking here. He said Arweave, Render, Caspa, Solana, and Ondo. That is right around the list that I would look at. I would look at a lot of AI plays. I love Caspa. And then I would take you got 200 mining stocks. I would put about 600 into those. And then you got about $200 left. At $200, I would start just looking for something that has that big move up down in that like $500, $600 market cap range, and start looking for something that's had daily moves up through there quickly. You would have been able to catch something like Toncoin on that move, and that is where I would put that other $200 to play.
Still moving, dude.
I know it is, but if you go back and look at in the historical market cap, it was like doing 4 and 5 spot moves on hourly. It was insane. So, and you would have caught something like that doing that. So, let's go ahead and jump into, speaking of some alts, let's go ahead and jump into some altcoins. Tradefly, what you looking at right now, man?
Oh, well, I just pulled up the TON chart because it just happened to come up in conversation. It looks pretty wild. Check this out. So, and this symmetrical triangle was actually drawn on a couple of the altcoins, and it looked like it broke out to the downside. It did hit the smart target, came back in, and then it just popped. And that's really when it got on the top side of the dynamic reactor. We know how important that is. It came down, tested it, then it came down again, retested it, and then that thing took off to the races. And now it's getting up towards resistance right now. So, hey, if you're opening that portfolio today, don't put it in TON today. Wait a second here, because it's clear resistance. I'm going to go ahead and draw that line for you. right there. And you can see, let me change this to red because there you go. All right. So there's a little bit of a range here. I would say anywhere between uh, about where it's at, 6.9 to about 7.2 is a little range of resistance. I wouldn't be messing with that right now, at least in terms of going long. You're probably going to see a little bit of a pullback, but it probably has to do with the greater overall market. You come down the prime oscillator, you're seeing overbought, you're seeing an indication of a reversal as well. And then you see the RSI or the prime oscillator starting to bend over. So that I'd be careful with right now. I think you're probably going to have a little bit of a pullback. Let's see if it does pull back. Let me go ahead and bring this up. This is a toughie. Where do we want to go? Do we want to go from here? Or do we want to go from here? Let's go from this one. All right. So let's see how that lines up. Okay. You can see the golden pocket would actually line up with where there was resistance right here. So that's kind of some of the things you got to do when you're looking at, doing these fib retracements. You want to see that things are lining up. And you can see right here, we had a pit stop at the 0.5. So two likely areas that if we did see a pullback, that we could see a pullback too, right? It shot up pretty quick up there. And you can even see the 0.236 actually acted as a little bit of support. I think ultimately the play here for TON is a look for this area right here. So you see kind of where there's resistance and it kind of lines up correction. It will be support. It was resistance, but it should act as support, right? You want to see that kind of flip and you really want to see a true retest of this symmetrical triangle. So I know it's a crazy pullback, but nothing uncommon, nothing we haven't seen before. That's probably where I would set an alert to look to stack some bags on TON. And that is at about 6.2 to about 6.1.
Okay, perfect. OC, what do you got for us, man?
Perfect. I have a little trick in here. So if you guys are looking for those coins really quick, you go to the Chart Prime server, then go for the Chart Prime bot in here. Then you need to be priming, just so you know. But you do this little thing, or that backslash, and just select Chart Prime bot. Once you are in there, just go to crypto heat map or whatever of the AR predictions or AR options. And what it's going to be doing is scavenging all across coin market cap, CoinGecko, so on and so forth, and it's going to give you either a heat map, or in this case, if we go and take a look at the crypto overview, it's going to bring you this one here. So as you can see, crypto overview, I run it before, and then let's just open it in a new tab. Here's what I was telling you, what is trending, right? So what is popularity, right? Big gainers. So you need one between those two. So if they're pairing, that's the ones that I'm going to be looking for, right? So just so you know, you have a big organization here. It's much easier to go through this one than manually searching for. So based on that, since we have a couple of movers, I'm going to be looking at render and other ones that we were talking about. But so far, I want to touch back on AKT because yesterday we were talking about possible targets, and look at that possible target. Basically just reaching at a target that we were expecting. Let me just bring up my support and resistances that I can see. There we go. And I was expecting it to either go up, bounce, but finally just fill up this gap. So we're reaching at the top of that gap, looking for the FOR, which basically already have played out, but we're making a little bit of a goose head. We are still very bullish, and we have a consolidation score very nicely. So I will maybe just waiting for a couple of two candles and try to make a push through, and just maybe getting wicked into this area right here at 6.9 or 7 to a cash. So hopefully you guys did enter in that trade. It was pretty cool. So other than that, turning it back to you guys.
Awesome. Jumping over here, guys. Look at the chat. Dave Digital said, hey, creators. So, this is for like FD White and LBC and, Blackie Chan. I mean, anybody in here that does content creation, Trade Intuition is always in here, T-Shroom. Creators, did you know that help is available? The Billy Goat Tales Collab Hub is now open, not only for collabs, but thumbnails, channel makeovers, all kinds of stuff that they can do over there. So if you guys are not in there, you can join today for $0 in the Billy Goat Tells Discord. If somebody, Crux, could you drop a link in the chat for anybody that wants to get over there into that? And then they can figure out once they get over there by asking a couple of questions how to get into that hub for content creators. But they're offering some great services over there, and you can get into it for $0. So shout out to Billy Goat Tells and shout out to Dave Digital for dropping that little piece of knowledge. I always forget about that. So let's jump over into my chart. And let's take a look at Ethereum here, guys, because we do have a little article on Ethereum. And Ethereum, I had this range up here, this T-box, shout out to TA Tim, over here, that was going to be like, hey, look, this is our key resistance area. And we had one final test back here. I'm looking at a 4-hour chart right now, but we had one final test over here in mid-April. We came down, we lost the golden pocket. And once we did that, we caught our support on the 50% fib here at 28.73. Last time we touched that on the 1st of May. And now I thought we might try to make it back up for another rejection here on the golden pocket. We didn't quite make it there, guys. The downward sloping dynamic reactor here is what is giving us that resistance. For those that don't know what the dynamic reactor is, it is an algorithmic moving average that a lot of variables go into, and it's amazingly accurate for giving those retests for on the daily and the 4-hour. I love to use it, but right now on the 4-hour, we are getting that rejection there on that, and this 50% I do believe could get tested again. You can see that we're starting to get a little bit of a goose head here, so maybe we'll go up before we come back down to that 50, but I do think that 50 at the 28.73 is a very good strong support area. We are starting to get that red candle on the RSI prime. I can stretch this out to show you there. Getting that little red dot there, that is an indication of a reversal here on the RSI primed also. So with this zero line here, if this does not goose head and continue up, then likely we are going to be coming back to that 50% right there. Again, that's 28.75, we'll call it. But if we go to the daily and take a look at what's going on the daily, you will see here, can you load for me, please? We are on the daily dynamic reactor as support, and it has been this way since the 13th of April. We did it again for a touch on the 14th, another one on the 17th of April, one on the 19th of April. We did a wick down below here that looked like a liquidity grab, grabbing all the liquidity from this former former support bounces here on the 50% line. Once it grabbed that, we again, all of the candles wicking down and touching that dynamic reactor. If we look at that, that's going to be about 29.75. The bottom of that being about 2,900. I do think that this is a good area, not financial advice, but good area to get into either a trade or a hodl on Ethereum. Now, talking about that, let's go ahead and take a look at what we're seeing here on Ethereum in the news. Crypto expert forecasts the age of Ethereum. What does this mean? Jumping up here and looking, it says Ethereum has received a lot of criticism recently, according to the ETH price. It's underperformed other altcoins, and I don't disagree with that. But, you know, last cycle, they did the same thing, guys. So Ethereum does tend to, like, I remember last cycle, $1,900 was where Ethereum was at forever. People were calling it a stable coin. And sadly, I got to put this out there, is that there was a lot of hopium being pumped into Ethereum that it was going to break out and melt faces before it went up and hit that $4,800. And that was being put out by Ben Armstrong, a.k.a. BitBoy. So don't like the individual, but I can't deny that he did make that call on Ethereum. And I think we're seeing that consolidation again this cycle going on with Ethereum, but do not undercut it, is what this article is saying. Berkman argues that Ethereum's underlying fundamentals remain exceptionally strong despite facing several perceived challenges. He tackles common investor concerns, directly providing counterpoints to each that highlight Ethereum's enduring strengths and potential. Its fundamentals look excellent. He addresses the concerns about competition from Bitcoin Layer 2 applications, regulatory hurdles with the SEC, and the rise of other blockchains like Solana So there's a lot to this. I am going to drop this article today in the Discord general chat. So you guys should all check it out. But he actually addresses each one of these things. And it's looking pretty strong here overall, based on what he's reading and what he's talking about and what he's seeing. But the biggest one is Berkman discusses the strategic movements of major financial players such as Visa, MasterCard, JP Morgan, and Citibank, which have all built their own blockchains. And all of these are gravitating towards Ethereum being the main line that they all work on. So when you look at banking, that they when you look at the banking industry versus the institutional financial system, such as credit cards, Ethereum is going to be that bridge that moves a lot of this money around for these companies. And they shared their shared chain that they're using instead of Ethereum is probably going to be bridged here in the near future with other potential partners. So a lot of news coming out on Ethereum in there, but I'm going to drop that link and that article in the chat for Discord. So if you're not in there, go check that article out. Let's go ahead and kick it over. We got about 10 minutes. TradeFly OC. I know we had a request for Jasmine, but you guys can take whatever you want to take here. We got about 10 minutes before we go and raid Randy Hipper's stream. So I'll kick it over to TradeFly first. Do you want it first, or you want? You good?
I have Jasmine pulled up, so that was
cool. Go with it.
Had.
Let's do it.
Cool. Yeah, so it's gonna be pretty easy right now. We've been in a range since February. So you got a fixed range volume profile up. You can see where the point of control is. You can see where it got rejected, and then it came back up for a retest. It looks like it's losing a little bit of strength here. So if I was a betting man, dynamic reactors working its way up. You got the value area low here. I think we're gonna find support in this area. I think you're looking for a bounce. That's probably would be my play if you're not in already. If you're trying to add to your bags, that would probably be my play, is to look at an area of support at about 0.016. And then you're going to look at some resistance here at the point of control. That's at about 0.02. And then probably your high side target is going to be 0.023. So that's probably where I would look to potentially add to some bags, put a stop loss underneath of it. And then you got to come down here and look at the prime oscillator, just kind of see what that's doing. So what you would like to see is it comes down, retest this area, and then you still see this trend up and right with the prime oscillator. This is on the daily though, so let's go ahead and actually look at the 4 hour, see what that looks like, get a little better picture of what we're looking at here. All right, you got a little bit of a falling wedge there. It looks like it's honoring. It's just kind of pogoing back and forth between that, so definitely keep an eye on that one as well. Looks like it's playing out so far, but I would look for, if you're this area for support, and then you got to kind of wait because you need it to break through this area. And honestly, I know you have the falling wedge here, but I'd really like to see it get on the top side of the point of control, just because you can see where it's been honoring that. And so when you get on the top side of that, and then you'll kind of look for OC's retest before looking to go long again. But it's been in this range. So, I mean, until we break this range, your top side target is going to be 0.023. And that could even potentially be an opportunity to short. So if you come over here and you're looking at the prime oscillator and you still see a trend down and right, and we come up to retest these areas, I mean, I'd be pretty careful, at least in a long position, but I would probably be more intrigued about a short position at the top side of that range. So again, in a range, we've been there for a very long time. I mean, I'm looking forward to break out of that range at some point, and that's probably where you get a little bit more interested in either going long or short. It's got a long way down. If it breaks out though, you might have some pit stops here. Let me see. Actually, you know what? I'm going to bring up the OChem trails. Let's bring those up. Let's see what we got in terms of volume at some of these levels here. So we got that up. Give it a second to load. There you go, baby. All right. So now, there we go. Let's tie it all in. You got the value area low here. So yeah, your next pit stop would be all the way down at about 0.014, and that lines up, right? So you can see, and that's a light blue color. Light blue is indicating that there's a lot more volume here. So yeah, it would be a pretty, I'd say, harsh fall down to that area, but you will find, I think, support there. That's pretty close too. If this continues kind of this down and right trajectory, this wedge could actually come in line with this area. So there's a few key areas for you to look at, but overall, it's in a range. So trader's paradise. If you like intraday, if you like scalping, you could play the range.
Absolutely, absolutely. OC, we got a couple of minutes for you to get a quick TA in before I get into the headline article for the day, and then we'll wrap it up.
Absolutely. I was looking for a breakout of Caspa. So breakout of Caspa did play it out. I was also looking for a retest. The retest did happen, but it wasn't as I was expecting it. As you can see, the retest isn't about the breakout. It's about the retest very quick, very fast, and then off we go. Right now, we have a strong entry here. Remember, we never enter on those strong signals. We enter on the retest or pullback sort of signals. And so far, we're having that candle of retracement. So looking forward to see that retracement maybe keep going this way to the zero lining here, going for that big retracement, or not big retracement, sorry, that pullback that could be our big entry for a continuation. So basically, Caspa doing great. Also, just tapping back on a big candle on Bitcoin on the 4 hours. Just be careful, nothing is said and done. And this is not a confirmation to the downside, but only at this point a confirmation on a pullback for a possible entry on Caspa. So be careful right there. Turning it back to you guys.
Sweet. All right, guys. Headline today: Jack Dorsey predicts Bitcoin to exceed $1 million per token by 2030. If you guys remember, we had not too long ago, there was a call for 1.5 billion by ARK Invest over there. So this is a little bit of a different one. This is from Jack Dorsey. If you guys don't know who he is, he's got Cash App. It's Block over there. So the bold assertion isn't merely focused on the cryptocurrency's price. Dorsey is captivated by the vibrant ecosystem that propels Bitcoin's growth. The most amazing thing about Bitcoin, apart from the founding story, is anyone who works on it or gets paid in it or buys it for themselves. Everyone who puts any effort into it to make it better is making the entire ecosystem better, which makes the price go up. It's a fascinating ecosystem. And his company Block mirrors his optimism through strategic financial maneuvers. On May 2nd, the firm announced its plan to adopt the dollar cost averaging strategy for monthly Bitcoin purchases. So he's jumping in there on the micro strategy move, it looks like a little bit there. But yeah, he's calling there for 2030 to be a greater than $1 million Bitcoin. Let's talk about that real fast. We got a couple of minutes to go around the table here. TradeFly, $1 million Bitcoin by 2030. What's your thoughts on that? Crazy or yeah, sure, I can see it. OC, how about you,
how
man?
I feel. How many times are you gonna ask me this question? You can't get me past 88 to 90K. So,
I know. Bear perma here. Let me get it. Let me find your
Perma.
Let me find your bear
coming.
over here.
I know it's coming. I'm
While
excited.
OC talks about it, while OC talks about his thoughts on this, let's get your bear up here. There we go.
All right. So, well, I guess that he's been taking some non-financial advice from the Piper Academy in our video of $5 billion, and they're just propelling to whatever they think they could be going, right? But I mean, come on, it's not. I don't think that we're gonna get there. Maybe. I mean, there is a maybe because the door is open for the ETF. Although we need to also just look at what happened with the ETF of gold being first approved in Canada, then approved in the US, and then how it evolved. Also, another thing that we can look at is the bubble of the dot-com bubble, right? When the dot-com bubble burst, it had a huge retracement, but that doesn't mean that the dot-com bubble just ended up dying there. Yes, for the mainstream, it did, right? But as you can see and compare that dot-com bubble then and now, you can see that we just overpassed it, annihilated, and we keep growing exponentially. So I think eventually we're gonna get there. I don't think that we're just gonna get there like tomorrow or in a month or something like that. It's gonna take time. And yeah, we all need to grind throughout political and social restrictions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. TradeFly, go ahead and ask your question about your DCA stuff there, because I don't see Crux putting a poll up right now. So it's a little bit late in the show for getting one up, I think.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Crux, you're slacking, bro.
We'll do
You're
it in the
slacking, man.
Discord. We'll do it over in the Discord.
I do both. So I do one on the show and then one in the Discord. So, ladies and gentlemen, please quickly put in a token or coin project, whatever of your choice, that I can allocate one slot of the DCA portfolio. So we'll count them up at the end, whatever it is. That'll be it. And then I'll post in the Discord in the members only section. And then you guys will be able to pick that fourth coin. So just so you guys know, I'm doing Bitcoin, Ethereum, show choice, and then members only choice.
All right, perfect. Guys, let us know what you would like to see on the DCA portfolio for TradeFly and OC. Give us your final words, man.
Absolutely. Guys, thank you so much for watching. We have a couple of likes in here. So guys, please make sure that you click that like button right here below because there's only 24. Let's make that go to 40. And if you click that like button, guys, there is, I just said it, a 99.9845% that your life gets better in the upcoming month. So go try it yourself. Be a little bit more happy by clicking that like button. It certainly make our life a little bit better. So
Perfect.
give us that.
Awesome. Well, as the list comes in here, guys, throughout the outro, go ahead and keep dropping the token that you would like to be on the show choice for the DCA portfolio for TradeFly. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. Guys, thanks for joining us today. We're about to go raid Randy Hipper's show, so make sure you get in there and start dropping those alumni hats, those graduate caps. And guys, we'll catch you guys back here. Right here, next Monday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you guys the news, the charts, and the markets, and everything you need to have knowledge, because here at the Piper Academy, knowledge is profit. Until then, trade safe, and as always, use a stop loss.
I don't know what they keep telling me. I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels fall off. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. Trade flag at the soul, train ready. What a line from OCI, former Mexican spaghetti. Yo, crunch crypto with a deep dive to reject dime. And if you like the visual powered by Car Prime, then you were part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have step, fall back to offline. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels fall off. Sound off.
To get rhythm, the ZTS rhythm. Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean?
That was awesome, dude.